Absolute references in Excel are a great way to make sure that we're always referring to the correct cell. Let's go through and look at an example of how, if we don't use an absolute reference, how it could give us incorrect conclusions and how we can use different formats of our absolute references. So in this example, we've got product ID, name, and standard cost. We could have 3 different profit margins. So if we look at the first one, we could calculate our margin based on the standard cost of $98.77. The first margin would be equal to cell C2 times cell I2. So that would give us 35% of $98.77, which is $34.57. So that works well for that. However, if I were to drag that over, our values would not be the same. As we drag a formula over, it's now moving everything over with it. So now we're taking D2, which is margin 1, multiplied by the correct profit margin, but because we didn't set this as C2 and it had to stay at that cell, it's going to pull over the incorrect information. So I'm going to hit Control Z and undo that. To make sure that it's always pulling from the correct cell, we can set this up in a couple of ways. So the $ is going to tell us exactly what we want to hold constant. If we were to put the $ in front of the C, that's going to tell us to hold the column constant. It's always going to stay in column C, which is exactly what we want. So when I pull this over, if I look at E2, now I'm still pulling C2 because it's going to keep the row constant because I pulled it over, and it's going to hold the column constant at C. I still want my values over here to move from I2 to J2, so that's good there. Now, if I were to copy this down then, I'm going to come over to cell D2, go to the bottom right-hand corner. When the plus sign comes up, I'm going to double click that, and I'm going to get values that don't make any sense. If I look at that cell now, it's because it's moved it down. It's held C, the column constant, but it hasn't kept the I part constant. As I move down, this also moved down. And really what I wanted to do was to keep this constant. So what I want to do is come back up here, and I'm going to want to keep this constant. So if I wanted to keep my row constant as row 2, then I would go through and put a $ in front of it. In this case, I want to keep that entire cell constant, so I'm going to put a $ in front of the I and a $ in front of the 2. So that's telling me to keep the row and the column constant. Now when I go through and carry that down, it's going to give me the correct values. So when I select row D for that margin, and I click on my formula bar, it's going to show me that it's taking $108.99 and multiplying it by 35%, which is exactly what I want. So it's important when we use the $, that's setting our absolute reference. If I'm using $2, it's holding the row and the column constant. If I'm putting the $ in front of the column, it's holding that constant. If I'm putting it in front of the row number, then that $ is holding that row constant. Okay. So a great way to use absolute references to make sure that you're getting that right information. So in this case, I'm going to do the same thing. I want to show you a quick shortcut though. So for J2, we're going to want a $ before the J and before the 2. We can also use the function F4. And as we go through this, if I hit it multiple times, it's going to take me through all the potential options of holding the rows, columns, or going back to no absolute reference. In this case, the first option is always both dollar signs, and that's exactly what I want. And I'll copy that down. And then I'll do the same thing for margin 3 by selecting the K2 and using my function F4 to do both dollar signs. And that gives me all of my profit margins based on the 3 options for all of our products.